Hi, my name is Virginia Wilson, Compliance Contract Officer with the County of Riverside Purchasing and Fleet Services Department. Welcome to part 1 of our 4-part series on doing business with Riverside County. I've always heard, I can't believe the quality of these RFPs, proposals that we got back. Oh, you should have seen that bid. And I started thinking, because I do interact with the vendors a lot more than the other buyers in the county, we don't we've never trained our vendors. We don't train our vendors. We train the buyers, and we have a very good buyer training program, but we don't train our vendors. And so we thought that this would be an opportunity, this is your test group, to start training our vendors. And hopefully we will get better quality bids and higher quality proposal responses. And the competition is good for the county. It is your tax-paying dollars that we're talking about. And so that's what we want to make sure, that we're being good stewards of your tax-paying dollars. So to start out, the county is the 4th most populous county in California. We're the 8th most populous county in U.S. We have over 18,000 employees. We have 50 plus departments, agencies, and special districts. And we procure over 16 million in goods and services a year. And like we say, this has not been very good year, so we're down to around 600 million. And we issue over 68,000 purchase orders. So that's to say that the county of Riverside is a very vast county. A lot of residents that we need to serve, so we're buying a lot of goods and services, So we need your help. We could not possibly do it by ourselves. We have to outsource some of these goods and services. So you're our experts, and so we're coming to you to partner with you to buy your goods and your services. So we need you. I have this here because I think the first thing that vendors should know, buyers, everyone, citizens, is that the only authority that can contract or procure goods for the County of Riverside is the Board of Supervisors. The Board of Supervisors has delegated that authority to the person that you just saw talking, the purchasing agent, or the Director of Purchasing and Fleet Services, Director Robert J. Howdyshell. So his authority is delegated down to some buyers and some procurement contract specialists. And so that's the person that gives us our authority. This is how we get our authority. And that comes from County Ordinance 459.4. So what do we purchase? Okay, almost everything. Each one of our departments, we have the Department of Public Social Services. We have the Department of Mental Health. We have Facilities Department, Fire Department, the Sheriff Department. So if you can imagine, we purchase almost everything. Architectural services, consulting services, laboratory equipment, office supplies, security alarms, furniture, automobiles, construction, public works, so you name it, we purchase it, almost everything. And so that's very important to know, because what you're going to want to do is find your niche in the county. You want to start looking up what departments, what buyers buy my product. Your first question is an easy one. What is your name, business, rank or title, and phone number? The county uses varied methods to procure goods and services, and we have what they call the low value purchases, and those are purchases between $0 and $2,500. We also use something called informal bidding, and that's anything that's up to $25,000. Buyers can go out and informally bid. Now, what do we mean by informal bidding? What we mean by that is that they will go out and they will get 3 bids, a minimum of 3. Some of them may get 10, they may get, 15, just what is needed. But we require them to get a minimum of 2 to 3 bids. And they can do that by telephone, they may email you, they may fax you. There are a lot of bids that are under $25,000 that are very lucrative, and it's a way of getting your feet in the door with the county of Riverside, and that's goods and services. We do have services that are under $25,000, consulting services that we do that are under $25,000. So it may be with mental health, with a training program, or anger management program, or in DPSS, it may be some type of training program for children. We have a lot of services as well that are under $25,000. Human resources have some that are under $25,000 as far as professional training and development programs that are under $25,000. So think, just kind of think outside of the box of what departments you can offer your services to. So under $25,000 is an informal bid, telephone, fax. Anything over $25,000 is going to be a formal bid. So it's going to be put out on our public purchase website, and Dirk is going to take you kind of through that and show you where the bids are located, and he'll also take you through registering through public purchase. He'll familiarize you with that. We also use something called cooperative purchasing. Cooperative purchasing is something that it's really starting to be used in the counties, cities, the state, the federal government is using cooperative purchasing. So what we do is we go out and we get a master agreement, and I may buy off of a state master agreement. So as a small vendor, you should be looking at maybe partnering with bigger companies or partnering together, several small companies together, to maybe get on some of these cooperative contracts. We will go into a lot more detail as the weeks go on. I'm just kind of setting the stage and giving you an overview, but later on, like Rod will come in next week and he'll talk more details on each one of these and give you, just go a little bit deeper on the how-tos. We also have emergency purchases. That's done usually with getting quick quotes, again, kind of like what they do for informal bidding. Particularly, let's say with the fire department and the sheriff department. When they have an emergency, we have to get moving. We have to procure goods and services so that they can meet the needs of the public. We can't go out and do a 6-week, formal bid. We have to be able to meet those needs. But we still do competitive bidding process, believe it or not. And we have what they call sole single source. Anything that is sole source has to go to the Board of Supervisors. If it's under $25,000 sole source, our Director of Purchasing has the authority to sign off on it. Anything under 25, the board has granted him that authority. So these are important things to understand the bidding process, to know how you can contract in, how you can fit into the county, how you can go about receiving contracts with the county. And again, this is going into a little bit greater detail. Between 1,001 to 25,000 require 3 or more bids. And again, the buyers, once you get to know your buyer, they will call you up. They will fax you or email you and say, I need 25 cases of some type of specialty paper, 97% brightness. They'll give you the specs, and then you just kind of tell them how much it is. And, oh, okay. Well, that's one of our, okay, leave me your card. And 25,000 or greater requires competitive bid, more than one response. We have to receive more than one response. If it's something that we only receive one response for, you wouldn't believe how many we do just get one. It has to go to the board and be approved by the board. But we don't like one response. We want to get the competition. We work with the purchasing teams. And again, you have the purchasing agent, kind of like what I explained at the beginning, at the top, the Director of Purchasing and Fleet Services, and then you have the procurement contract specialist here on page 6 and 7 in your green book. And that's kind of homework. We're going to have homework too. So your homework is to find your buyer, make contact with your buyer, and maybe find out what's the best way to communicate with that buyer if they want you to kind of keep them updated on your products or services by email. They probably won't do fax, but it's either going to be email, or they may want to have you do a meeting with the department to come in person and talk about and kind of pitch your products to that particular department. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We have the department buyers. We have buyer ones. They can purchase up to $10,000. And buyer twos have authority up to $25,000. We have low value processing authority buyers up to $25,000 per vendor per day. So we have like a purchasing team of people. This is very good to know because you want to figure out where your product or service fit in, make contact with the buyer, know what they're looking for. If it's going to be a formal bid, if you can get in by doing informal bids, if it's going to be a sole source. If you see a product that's being sole source, maybe you want to offer something else where they don't have to sole source that, because we don't like doing that. So it's important to know the structure of how the buyers are with the County of Riverside. True or false? The county purchasing team consists of a purchasing agent, procurement contract specialist, department buyers, and low-value purchasing authority buyers. So how do you get started? Of course, the first thing we want to talk about is getting suppliers registered. And so that's where Dirk is going to come in and kind of tell you about getting registered.
This is our newly and improved website. We just redid this website a couple months ago. It has different sections. If you scroll down a little bit, it shows you the divisions that are part of our department, Purchasing and Fleet Services. And it shows you current open bids, bid results, and so forth. And then there's a column that shows you the buyers and the commodities that they handle. And Virginia, if you scroll down a little more, there's a column for vendors in particular. So who in here has already registered with the County of Riverside? Okay. By show of hands, has anybody registered on publicpurchase.com? Okay. And who is not going to raise the hand no matter what I ask? Okay, just checking. Anyways, yes, the first step that you want to do is, as a vendor, to go to our website and go to vendor registration and maintenance. Maintenance, because that's where you would also go not only to register, but also to update your information if something changed. Go and register on publicpurchase.com in case you haven't done that. Virginia, could you click on this link? Okay, if you click on this link, it'll take you directly to the public purchase registration site. And of course, they want to make money, but registering with the County of Riverside is free on there. It doesn't cost you anything. If you opt to choose the free registration, which I recommend, is you can see the county's bids and you can respond to them as well. This option here basically signs you up with every entity that is doing business on publicpurchase.com so that you don't have to do it manually, but you can register manually on here. So the registration process on publicpurchase.com is a two-step process. You register on there first. They send you an email to confirm your identity, basically. Then you log into your email account, click on it, and activate your registration. And then you find the entities within public purchase, such as the County of Riverside or the city of Paris or the city of Riverside, and then you're able to see the bids. This is, again, our purchasing website, and you can see on there the bids that the county currently has posted. Virginia, if you go to public purchase open bids right here, and if you scroll down a little, so we have a little billboard here. Our website is directly linked to publicpurchase.com, so you can actually see on our website the current open bids that we have posted on there. So if you clicked on any of these bids, it'll take you again to the public purchase website. And Virginia, can you go back to our purchasing website, the one to the right?
Oh,
yes. So on here, we have posted detailed instructions. It's screen by screen. Virginia, if you just want to click on this. It's bringing up a PDF file that will show you step by step what you have to do. Yeah. If you scroll down a little more, somebody, I think you asked earlier, if we have two separate registration processes. And I said, yes, we do. This one I just covered right now is for bidding purposes only. We do have, unfortunately, a second registration process. This process itself will take your information directly into the county's vendor database, so that if we're actually doing business with you, the county is able to issue a purchase order and can actually get you paid. So that is this particular process. Virginia, can you click on this link? And again, we have detailed instructions posted on there on how to do that. This is where you would maintain your data. If you already have a registration, you could log into your county registration and make changes to it. If your address changed, your telephone number, so forth. This is how you would sign in. And here are some instructions in case you forgot your username or password. You can email this help desk here. They will get back to you and provide you that information. For new vendors who have not registered yet, there's a link right here. Virginia, if you would click on that. And this link provides you a very limited window into the county's financial database. You will actually put your company's information directly in there real time. So the information that is required is your legal company name. You should know what your tax ID is. And maybe if you're a corporation or a company, you have a federal tax ID. If you're a sole proprietor, you have your own social security number. So make sure that the information you put in there matches what your W-9 form provides, so that the county's auditor controller's office can actually get you paid. So you create a username and password, and then Virginia, if you can scroll down a little more. Put your remit to address in there. And then this is where vendors most of the time, or some vendors, struggle with registration, which is, if you scroll down all the way, Virginia, is the commodity codes that I already talked about. So, but you can search by description or by keyword. If you provide janitorial services, you can type in a keyword that says janitorial and click on lookup, and it gives you a list of commodity codes that contain that word. there's a minimum amount of one commodity code that you need to register under, otherwise your registration is not complete and it won't let you save that. But you can enter as many commodity codes as possible. In fact, I would recommend that you do that. If your company provides different types of services, make sure that you put a variety of them in there so that when a bid is posted or if somebody's looking for a company that provides your kind of services or the items that you're selling, comes up. So you have a whole list of items that contain the word medical, and then you go through these and select them. And after you have done that and selected your commodity codes, you click Save. And basically your registration, the technical part of it is complete. Okay, so if I may summarize, there are two different registration procedures. One is for bidding purposes, and there's a link provided for that on our website that will take you directly to publicpurchase.com. And this is where the county is posting most of the bids today. And that will enable you to participate in the bidding process and to get bid notifications sent to you via email based on the commodity codes that you registered under. There's a second registration process, which I just went over, which will get your vendor information directly into the county's vendor database, which is part of the county's financial software system, so that when you actually win a bid, or if the county is actually doing business with you, that you're already set up and that the county can immediately issue a purchase order to you and can get you paid right away. Sometimes if vendors don't do this step, there's frustration. If they already did business with the county, they submitted an invoice and they just want to get paid, but the vendor hasn't completed this step yet, then there's a delay in payment. And so if you go through this process right away and set yourself up, you can eliminate that kind of frustration. Okay, then I will hand the time back to Virginia. Thank you very much.
One of the most important things that Dirk mentioned, I want to make sure that everybody kind of caught that, is that he mentioned over and over again, make sure you register for as many NGP codes as you think possible, because what's going to happen is that a buyer is sitting there developing these specifications and also selecting the NGP codes. So you want to make sure that they pick up your NGP code, because that's how you're going to be notified through public purchase. So public purchase will send you an email letting you know there's a bid out there for medical equipment, and you can make the decision whether to bid on it or not. You click on the link and it'll take you over, and you go in there and you take a look at it. And yes, we do submit bids through public purchase, and you should always get an award notice. If you put in a bid, you should get an award notice letting you know that who has won that bid. So generally in a bid, they will let you know if it's going to be 30, 60, 90 days from award. Okay. So here's our website for public purchase. You can also get in through the County of Riverside website, and we post bids for purchasing. It's under 175. Also, at the next workshop that we're going to do, we will have a person that's going to be talking about bids that are over 175. So she's going to kind of clue in and go over those bids as well. We have two purchasing programs. They are the local preference, whereby a vendor that is local to the County of Riverside will receive a 5% preference, and that is used for evaluation purposes only. let's say for instance, if your company is within the county of Riverside, then the companies that are not would have an additional 5% added to their bid. Also, it has changed just a little bit. Let's say, for instance, you're a local bidder and you're doing Ford vans. And even when we add the 5%, you're not the lowest bidder. If you're within 5%, we will come back to you and ask you if you can meet the lowest price. If you can, then you would win the award. So that is something that is new that has been added to the local preference. There's a 3% disabled veterans business enterprise preference, and it's used again for evaluation purposes. If the other vendors are not a disabled veteran business enterprise, then we add 3% to their price. And so that's in hope that the disabled veteran business enterprise business would be the lowest bidder at that point. So this is very important. Make sure that you apply for either one of these if you're qualified here first.
You combine them, so if you're in the county and a DVVE, then it becomes 8?
We do not at this point combine them. There is, we're discussing it, but at this point, no, we do not combine them. It's just one or the other.
You said you have to apply for the local preference?
Yes, there's a form that you fill out to let us know that you have a local business inside Riverside, that your sales taxes also have to be paid within Riverside. So yes, there is a form, and it's a part of our bid template, so it's usually the last page in a bid. So you have to fill that out to let us know.
So you fill that out each time you do a bid?
Each time you do a bid, yes. There's nowhere where we're holding, storing this information. So, must have all required, these are some of the county requirements. General, because we're going to get real specific. That's in August. It's when Jeffrey Hunter, our risk analyst, is going to come back and talk with you about insurances, and he will definitely go very deep. He's an insurance specialist for the county. He's a risk analyst for the county. So he will kind of give you the philosophy of the county when it comes to insurance requirements, bonds, and protecting the county and protecting your tax-paying funds, monies against risk. So he's going to talk about that in August. But for all of our bids that go out, you will see a certain amount of insurance that's required. It's usually $1 million insurance policy. But if you don't have that, you really need to come in August, and Jeffrey will really kind of drill down deep on different types of contractor programs for contractors of small businesses that may need assistance on insurances. So he will talk to that in August. Must possess all valid licensing, certifications, and you have to be in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws and regulations. So if you're going to do business with the county, we definitely award to the most responsible. Responsible meaning that you have the right insurances. Responsible meaning that you have the license that's required and that you meet all of those types of requirements. Responsive meaning that you're responsive to the bid that's out there, that you didn't turn it in late, that you, if it was a mandatory meeting, you attended the mandatory meeting, and that if they asked for 7 years, that you demonstrated 7 years of experience, that sort of thing. So that's meeting the requirements of being responsible and responsive. That is how we award bids in the County of Riverside. True or false? Awarded vendors must possess valid licenses and/or certifications to be compliant with all federal, state, and local laws. So here's some helpful hints. The first thing is we want you to know your customer, and so that was the homework of finding what departments That's knowing your customer, getting to know your customer. Know what vendor has your contract, and know if it was awarded by an RFP. No, take a look at the contract, because what you can do is a public records request, and you can get a copy of the contract, a copy of the last bid, how was it awarded, the evaluation. These are things that you can request under the Public Records Act. They would come to me. My name, number, email address is in here. Also on our website that you saw under vendor information, there's information on vendors protests and public information. So make sure you go there and request information to see how much the contract was, what did the bids look like. You know, if you've never done a bid before, you need to really maybe ask for one. Get it in your hands and feel it and touch it and see what the awarded vendor's bid look like. And they come to me, so you see I'm making work for myself. So that's okay. I'm willing and ready to do it. Know your customer needs, your customer's expectations. Know your customer's business. Are there any things that they're doing that may be obsolete or out of date? So you want to make an appointment to come in and say, you know, I noticed that you're doing whatever it is. That can be done a lot differently now. The industry has moved forward. Part of educating our vendors about our process is that you will educate us because you're the experts. And so we want to invite you in to partner with us because you are the experts at what you do. So we need for you to come in and kind of keep us so that we won't be obsolete on certain things. Effective communication, you know, decide how a particular buyer wants you to communicate with them. Is it sending them an email? Maybe it's some hard copy material. You know, make sure that what you're doing is effective. You may need to get in front of them and really present your information because that's the way your product sells best, is by getting in there and talking to them in person. And know who the decision makers are. Know who is going to make the decisions on your particular product. Is it the department head? And like I say, it may even be at the buyer level, the buyer 1 or the buyer 2, because if it's an informal bid and they're just going out getting three bids, they have to award to the lowest bidder. They don't have any discretion in that. They have to award to the lowest bidder, so they're the decision maker. So you want to know that, okay? Another helpful hint is to think long term. You want to start building trust with the department because put yourself in the department's shoes. They're outsourcing. They have a need. They need to get it met by a certain time frame. So you want to definitely make sure when you get that first contract that you stay in compliance and you feel the obligations of that particular contract. And you want to, again, understand your customer's needs, understand the contract's terms and conditions. So we will be going over contracts in some of the next workshops so that you can get familiar with what is required of you. Because once you get a contract, I mean, that's just the first step. You have to be successful at it, fulfilling that obligation. And again, get to know the buyers. I keep saying that, but it's a relationship building process so that they will be able to pick up that phone or email you or fax you and say, here's a specification, can you meet this? We need this 20 reams of specialty paper. Some more helpful hints, if there's a pre-bid offered, make sure you attend the pre-bid meeting because you will gain a lot of valuable information. You will know, the main thing when you walk in a room, you will know who the competitors are. You will know who's looking at competing on this particular bid. You will gain information on different questions. Some of the questions you may have, some of them may, you know, your competitors may have the same questions, so you can tell a lot by that. Make sure you schedule enough time to formulate your bids and proposals because here, never, ever, ever submit a late proposal. we can't accept it. So unless it's something like it was a fire and they closed off the freeway, something to that effect, we may accept the proposal, but we will tentatively accept it, but we have to do some investigation to see. But to be fair for everyone, we do not accept late proposals. Make sure your response is clear and concise, and make sure you understand the specs. And you can get a lot of that information at the pre-bid meeting. And know the evaluation of the bid process. Know if it's an RFQ, if it's going to be awarded to the lowest, most responsible bidder, or if it's an RFP, maybe it's going through an evaluation committee. So you want to know how the bids are being evaluated. Ask a lot of questions, and again, never submit the late bid, but more importantly than anything, if you submit a bid and you're not awarded a contract, you want to ask for a debriefing. You want to come in and you want to find out where your bid stood, how much was the awarded vendor. You want to know what you could have done better. They will also give you, maybe not the evaluator's name, because that's not important. What you want to know is to gather some of the comments about your bid. What did they say about your bid? Was it that, you just needed 6 more months of experience? You needed that to demonstrate that? It wasn't clear. The evaluators will write comments because we asked them to write comments on all of their scores. So ask for those comments so you can find out what can make your bid better the next time. And always ask to look at the awarded bid so you can see how you stacked up against that. True or false? If a supplier is not awarded a bid, it is best not to ask for a debriefing because the buyers are extremely busy. This concludes part 1 of our 4-part series on doing business with Riverside County. We look forward to seeing you at our meet and greet with the buyers on Monday, September the 15th, 2014, where you will be able to put your new knowledge to work. Thank you and good luck.